Good? Yeah? Whoa! You know what's exciting about coming up here? I have no clue what I'm going to say. Mark knows that's true because when you've been doing this for 32 years, how do I explain it in 15 minutes? Excuse me, in 15 minutes. It's pretty nigh impossible. Now, I won't talk as fast as the Americans because I'm British, okay? I'll keep it calm. I'll make sense, okay? Because after all, guys, we Europeans, there's 600 million of us, there's only 400 million of them, yeah? Which there lies the opportunity, by the way. Now, life's a funny thing because I heard Matt say, and Matt's my sponsor, by the way, and I haven't had a sponsor for about 18 years, so having a sponsor was a bit weird for me. Having been, as Mark said, the master distributor of my last 3 companies, I wasn't used to having somebody that I joined. Yeah, I joined somebody 32 years ago, but that was a different animal. I was in my 20s. And when Matt Morris spoke to me about this business, it wasn't, strictly speaking, Matt's involvement that kicked me into being involved with the company. And I'm going to tell you that story because I think it's important for you to understand what you're in from the perspective of somebody like me who's been in the industry longer than some of you have been alive. Okay? And that's weird. Matt talked about it. Mark talked about it. Background. I want to say that we learn, the future comes from what we know of the past in some respect. We don't build the future based on what we didn't do in the past. We don't set our goals backwards. We don't look to the future because of what we didn't achieve in the past. So if you're 35 years of age and you're really not getting anywhere, it doesn't mean you have to look back at the last 35 years and think the next 35 are going to be similar but just slightly better. It doesn't work like that. It works that you make a decision from today where tomorrow is going to be, because tomorrow is where you're going to spend the beginning of the rest of your life. So what's gone in the past is pretty much irrelevant, but it does teach us some stuff. And some of the things it does is it gives us experience. And when I look back at little old me, yeah, we're doing quite well. We've got a couple of bob, as they say in England. We don't have to worry too much. In fact, I want all of you to have the lifestyle that I've had for many, many years, and it breaks my heart that some of you just won't do it because you won't commit, you won't do the work, you haven't got the guts to do it. That's the challenge. Okay? So I'm talking here today to people that I hope understand that I'm going to be as straight as I can, because when you're dealing with me, I'm an ex-policeman. I was in the Metropolitan Police for 8 years, so I'm rough, tough, rugged and ready, okay? And I don't pull my punches. In the end, I want to tell you how it is, because there ain't enough time left for you to mess around trying to find out and disagreeing with me. You're not going to disagree with me. That's the first thing you need to understand, right? And the reason you're not is because after 32 years, I know a little bit more about this than you do. Now, is that fair? Now, if you're an engineer and you build bridges, and you've been building bridges for 32 years, I figure you might know a bit about bridges, so I'll come and talk to you about bridges, all right? But if you ain't been doing this as long as me and you haven't done what I've done with it, don't come and tell me how this works, please. Don't be that silly, okay? And please don't tell me it doesn't work, because I'll probably hit you. Now, let's get that straight so we know where we stand, okay? The reason I start like that is because I come from a background of 5 children with parents who had very little. My parents never left the country. They couldn't afford to travel. We used to go on holiday to the seaside, to the beach, once a year. Dad, my father, could not read and write. He was illiterate. I used to sit on his knee and read a newspaper to him. Okay, and we never had any money. And we never had any expectation of money. But my mother, God bless them both, they're both gone now. But my mother, excuse me, I'll just have to hold on to this for a second. My mother used to say one thing to me. She used to say, you're special. You can be anything you want to be. And I believed that. Because I was a little boy, and my mum told me so. And that's where I started. So when I saw network marketing, and if that's all she gave me everything. When I saw network marketing, I knew I could do it because I knew I was special and I could be anything I wanted to be. Now, guys, we live in a world of people who are told day after day after day that they're nothing. They're nobody. You work for me, do as you're told. If you don't do as you're told, I'll fire you. You're mine. Every piece of your life belongs to me. I will tell you when you can go on holiday. I will tell you when you can have a day off. And if you don't do what I tell you, I will fire you and you will have no money for anything. Do you understand me? Why do you put up with that? Will you tell me? You've got one life, guys. One opportunity. We don't know what comes next, but what we do know is where we are right now. I mean, is it real? Is this real? Do you believe that what's going on right now is actually happening? Or do you think you're still asleep? Right? I told you I didn't know what I was going to say. I was going to tell you about my mum because I nearly got upset there, and I'm a big, tough guy, and I don't get upset about stuff like that. So, go around and start telling your people you believe in them. You see, I believe in every single one of you. Why? Because after 32 years, I've spoken in front of millions of people. I've spoken on the stage at the Albert Hall. I've been on the BBC News. I've launched companies with 4, 5, 10, 15,000 people in the room. I don't worry about, it's the numbers of people are not important. It's that inside some of you have got it. Some of you, you've got that. You've got that spark. It's inside you. I can't make you successful. I don't have that power. I wish I could, although that would be a bit boring. Because part of the excitement of success is the struggle. Do you know that? You can't understand what success is if you haven't had it. Those people born into wealth do not understand what it means to have nothing, and they never can. It's a shame, actually. So if you are where I started all those years ago, because I'm, you know, I'll be 40 one day. Ish. If you are where I started, okay, and coming from a base of, I know I can do this, thank goodness, that's the first step, is do you actually believe in yourself? Your self-esteem is where you start. Guys, if you can't love yourself, you can't love others. And we lack self-esteem in the world that we live in today. There's less and less of it every day because we are pounding people. There's too much communication that hurts people. There's too many things going on out there that are grinding people down. But let's talk about why I'm standing here, because I shouldn't be. And I really, really shouldn't be, because if you go back, and Mark shared my history, if you go back about 3 or 4, 2.5 years, 2009 was when I first heard, well, I had heard about WorldVentures, but 2009, April of 2009, I was doing some consultancy work for a company in Dallas. And I shot over to Dallas to meet with this company. They flew me over there for a few days. I'm staying at the Hilton in Dallas. And I was, at the end of this session, this meeting, I thought, I'll call my old mate Kyle Lowe. I've known Kyle for 10 or 11 years. And let me tell you, Kyle Lowe is one of my best mates. And for me to say that, I don't have a lot of good mates. Real people that care about you, real friends that will support you no matter what's going on. I know I can give Kyle Lowe every penny I've got, and he'll look after it for me. I know that if I turn around to Kyle and said, "Hey Kyle, can you give me a hand? I need help with one of the children," he would do that. He would be there. So my respect for Kyle Lowe goes way beyond professional. He's one of the most professional executives you'll ever meet. But what happened was he lives in Dallas. So I was in Dallas with this corporation who you would all have heard of, but I can't mention it. And they were looking at going into network marketing, and I was consulting for them. They never have, and they never will, because they're a great big corporate giant, and they don't understand it. And I spent 3 days trying to explain it, and it was like talking to the wall, right? So they have never done it. They never will. But they paid me, you know, a few shillings for being there and so on. Anyway, I rang Kyle up on the last day, and I said, "Hey, mate, I've got to get back to Sarasota, because I've got, you know, we struggle a bit with, you know, 3 homes, 7 cars. It gets a bit tight sometimes. So my home is Sarasota. I was down there, and I said, oh, sorry, I was going to go back down there. And I said, Carl, I'm going back to Sarasota. So how about you pick me up, take me to the airport. We'll catch up. I haven't seen you for a while, and I'll buy you breakfast. So he said, yeah, sure. So he picked me up in his Honda, which is since destroyed. He has completely destroyed it. Completely totaled the thing, didn't you? Crashed it, smashed it to bits. That's Kyle. Don't go out in a car with him. Not good. So he starts to take me to the airport, and we got chatting. And I said to him, Kyle, what you up to? And he said, I'm with WorldVentures. And I said, you what? He said, WorldVentures. I said, what, that travel deal? And he said, yeah. And I said, are you mentally ill, Carl? And I think I did say those words. And he said, no, why? I said, a travel deal? Carl, every single travel network marketing company has failed. They're scams. Get a life, okay? You're better than that. And he's going, no, Pete, this is the real deal. I know these guys. And he said, how about we go across now and meet them before we go to the airport? I said, no, I need to go back to Florida. It's cold here. I need to get back to Sarasota. Take me to the airport. So I ignored his invitation to go to the company. And I said, no way. And we carried on talking about WorldVentures, and he told me what he thought of it. He told me about Matt Morris, he told me about Mike Asquith and Wayne and John McKillip, who I'd heard of, and so on and so forth. And I went home. I went back to Sarasota. But I knew one thing. In my mind, I knew Carl Lowe was no idiot. I know that for sure. And I thought, if Carl's involved, there must be something in this. But I don't want to know. I don't want to know. So I let it go. And then in the June of that year, Matt Morris and Kyle and Mike Asquith and Mike Putnam as well came along to a meeting in London. Not for me, but they came to a meeting in London. And Kyle said to me, come up to London, let's have a chat about WorldVentures and its international potential. And I said, well, you're in London. Okay, it's not too far to go. I'll come up. You buy me coffee, I'll be there. So I went up, we sat down, we talked. I met Matt Morris, who I liked immensely. And we got chatting about WorldVentures. I met Mike Asquith. But you know what, guys? I gave them a really hard time. I was determined to tell them that they're wasting their time. If they think they're coming to Europe, if they think they're going to build a global business, they're just another bunch of crazy Americans with a multi-level deal think they're going to take over the world. That's not going to happen, you know? So I spent quite a while probably looking pretty stupid myself, because I was sitting there being just a dumb whatever, saying, yeah, well, what are you going to do about this? What are you going to be at that? And they couldn't really answer me. They couldn't answer what they didn't know what they were going to do with the global expansion. But something happened. I picked up the vibes of the kind of people they were. And I couldn't help liking them. I thought, bugger it, I like them. Damn. So anyway, I went back home, and between you, me, and the big gatepost, I signed up just in case they got it right, but I never told anybody. So I quietly took a position sponsored by Matt and thought, I don't know, let's see what happens. Can't hurt. You know, might get lucky. And you know, one or two people started to come in. Anyway, long story short, about 3 or 4 months later, another call from Kyle. But what happened was Kyle said, look, Pete, Mike and Wayne and the guys, they want to talk about international. They really are getting serious. And Kyle said to me, will you pop up, come up, I was in Sarasota again, will you come up to Dallas and talk about what's possible, you know, and Kyle and I had also spoken about some of the planning for what could be done, the numbers, the possibilities, because I've done a lot of corporate, I've 9 years corporate and some big companies. So I did some work with Kyle, which we'd done before, on the planning of what was possible. And the company had looked at this, and Carl had said, you know, that they like it, they like the idea, so why don't we pop up? So I went back up, this was December of 2009, I went back up to Dallas from Florida. It was freezing cold in Dallas, it was glorious in Florida. I went up to Dallas again in the cold. I said to Carl, okay, fine, let's sit down and chat. And I gave them one, I mean, guys, I gave them such a hard time. Because you've got to understand where I come from. When I say that, when Mark told you I was World Federation DSA, DSA Legal Task Force, DSA Council for the UK, I've sat on the boards of the Direct Selling Association for Europe. So I know the rules. And at one point I said, and I don't know why I said this because it must have sounded pretty silly, I said, if you guys come to Europe and you mess about, I know the people that will shut you down. They must have thought, what a bloody idiot. I mean, I sound like Clint Eastwood, you know. So, and as I said it, I thought, that's really dumb, Pete, you shouldn't have said that. You do sound like a bit of a twit. But I wanted them to know how important I was. And they were going to mess with me, you know. I know my stuff. But you know what came across at that last meeting? I just liked them even more. They left their egos in the car park. They were just, what do we do? And they were asking questions. You've got to remember that I'm talking to guys, okay? I was doing network marketing when they were still learning to walk. That's what you've got to understand. You got that? So when you're in that kind of place, you sort of look at them and you go, I'm not sure I want to work with a bunch of kids again, you know. But what was, they came across so sincere. They came across, and I sat there and I went, I like them. Damn, I like them. I went back to Florida. I went into my villa in Sarasota. My wife, Mary, was standing there, and she knew our lifestyle. She knew we'd given a multi-level was done for me. This is what you've done. This is what you've got to remember. I was done. I was done. Never going to do it again. Retired. Call it what you like. I was living. I was spending 3 months of the year in Florida playing golf on a Tuesday afternoon at 85 degrees while you were freezing. I was doing what I wanted to do, you know. I was out there living the life that we keep talking about. I'm not going to do this again. And I walked into my house in Sarasota. Mary looked at me and she said, how'd it go? And I said, and I used a bad word. I'm not going to use it here. Oh, I said shit. She said, what? I'm going to do it. She said, why? Because she knows I spent 30 years doing network marketing, and now you don't have to do it. So why? Do I have to go? I said, no, you don't have to come. I'll go on my own. She said, oh, okay, that's good. Which is why you don't see me at that many meetings, because I choose what I do. But what's important is, she said to me, but why? Why, Pete? Why? And I said, because somebody is going to make a shed load of money, and it needs to be me and my mates. Right? You see, guys, here's the deal. I've been in my career, not because I was there, not because I was that good or whatever. In my career, I've been with 5 companies when they've gone through $1 billion in sales. 5 companies, when they've gone, their sales volume has gone through $1 billion, either corporately or in the field, right? And I've been at the top of 3 of them and seen the money and see what, and it is the most incredible freaking ride you can possibly have. If you want to have excitement in life, you want to be with a company when it goes through $1 billion, is that right, Mark? You have no idea. You ain't seen nothing yet. You think this is a big room. You have no idea what's going to happen to you. I do. I think it's hilarious. And because I've been with 5 of these outfits, I know what they smell like, what they walk like, what they talk like, what they sound like. I know what they feel like. This is the next one. And this ain't a $1 billion outfit, guys. This is a 10, 15, $20 billion outfit. This is going to be the biggest network marketing story the world has ever seen. I promise you that. And as I said at the beginning, if you come and tell me it's not, I'm just not even listening. You know, when you go out there and you talk to your friends and your family and that, and they tell you, look, you just have to say, excuse me, okay? When your brother-in-law or your mother-in-law or your brother says to you, this ain't going to work, you're going to tell them and say, excuse me, are you going to pay my mortgage and clothe my children and feed them and send me on holiday? No. Then what you have to say is totally irrelevant, excuse me. If they've got what you want, if they're living the lifestyle that you desire, then follow them. Or follow us. It's up to you. And I sincerely know that international will be bigger than the United States, and you are international. This is international. We will make the US look like it never got out of bed. Okay? I've got 2 hot tips and then I'm done. I'm finished, okay? And I've got to actually shoot back to Venice and get back because we're building a new house. We're building a 6-bedroom, 4-bathroom, $1.5 million house on a piece of land, and it's gone a little bit haywire with the builder. I've got to get back and sort him out. But, and you can come and visit. I tell you what, if you get to, I don't know, some level, I'll ask you over for dinner. How about that? Mary will go, you're kidding me, right? We're not doing that again. Yeah. Anyway, 2 tips, 2 hot tips, right? 2 things you've got to remember before you leave here today. From me, please. Number 1, buy shares in BMW. I don't know if you can. They're still privately owned, aren't they? I think they're the only privately owned car company left on the planet, so I don't think you can buy shares. Anyway, shame. Shame we didn't pick a company we could buy shares in, Mark. Okay. Number 2. Simple, 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 simple. I love simple. Because when I came in this business, I didn't understand the comp plan. I could care less. My sponsor rang me when I got 4 in the first morning, because I signed up 4 people the first morning by lunch. And when I got 4, my sponsor rang me, Mr. Morris, and he said, "Hey, Peter, get 4, pay no more." I said, "Are you some kind of poet?" He said, "Get 4, pay no more." I said, "You said that once." He said, "You got 4, you don't pay anymore." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "In the comp plan, when you get 4 people, you don't pay anymore." I said, "Really? Where's that come from?" He said, "It's in the plan." I said, "Really? I didn't read it." And then there were travel dollars. This is true. Travel dollars. I've got all these travel dollars. Get thousands every month. I've got all these travel dollars. And I said to Matt, "What do I do with these? Is there some gimmick, some coupon or something, some voucher?" He said, "No, you spend them on travel." I said, "Oh, yeah, well, I've got to buy trips from WorldVentures." He said, "No, any travel you like. You can go on British." I said, "Okay, so when I fly to my house in Florida, I can get on a British Airways business class flight and I can fly over there and come back and your company will pay for it?" He said, "Yeah, you just send in the receipts." I said, "Yeah, right." He said, "No, it's true." I said, "No, I don't. Okay, Matt, I'll try it." It's true. Okay? Mary and I last year, and it's only our first full year in the company, we took $78,000 worth of travel dollars, and we went away a couple of days, you know? And we go up the front of the plane, we stay in 5-star hotels. I go into hotels, this is cool, because you've got to spend them. So I go in the hotel, I go, "Have you got anything better than that?" "Yeah, we've got a suite, but how much is that?" So, "Is that the best you got?" "Yeah, I'll have it." And Mary goes, "That's a lot of money." I said, "Yeah, well, if you don't spend them, we can't get them out. If you don't spend the travel dollars, you can't get them back, right? You've got to spend them." Anyway, that was... second hot tip. Let's get on with this because I'm holding other people up. Okay. I like to keep things simple. I want to say to you to do one thing for me, and that's this. Just find 6 people. It's a magic number. I was an Amway distributor for 10 years. Okay, I joined Amway when I was 23. That was my first company. And they used to say 6 was a magic number. They needed it for what they called their level was diamond at the time. And Amway is a great company, but they've had their day. They're a super company, but they are of their time. We are of our time. Travel is this is the world. This is the future of network marketing. So 6 was a magic number, and I locked into that number, and I thought I need to find 6. And now I'm not talking about just only, but find 6 people more intelligent than you, more excited than you, okay, faster than you, people that are more ambitious than you, better looking than you, younger than you, older than you, it doesn't matter, but people that have got some guts, yeah, and some drive, and people who want to change their lives. Just find 6. There's only 600 million people in Europe. If you can't find 6, go and get a job. Right? It's that simple, really. People say, "I don't know anybody." Fine, then don't do it. Fine, for crying out loud. What do you mean you don't know anybody? Will you walk around with a bag over your head? Okay, so find 6. Why 6? I don't know why 6. I just know that if you find 6 leaders, you will be walking to the bank. I know that. 6. You need 3 to qualify for everything, but you need 6 as some backup. But you can have 46, 66, 166. You need to find 6 live wires, 6 leaders. Find them. And I'll tell you how critical this is, guys. When you move on and your time is over, how many people do you need to carry your coffin? 6. Unless you're a big guy, but 6 mainly. If you can find 6 when you're dead, you can find 6 when you're alive, right? Thank you!